Good morning, everyone. I am teacher Jarrett, and today we are going to be talking about how life today is different from life long ago. Okay? So the genre today is nonfiction. The essential question is, how is life different than it was long ago? Read about how life at home is different today than it was long ago. Okay, so last time we talked about how life outside of the home was different today than it was long ago, right? We talked about cars, how cars used to be very slow. And we talked about horses and wagons, remember? And we talked about, what else? Airplanes. We talked about how there were no airplanes long ago, right? Yeah. So today we are going to do more reading about things at home. The title of this story is Life at Home. Has home life changed a lot since long ago? Yes, it has. And remember, ago means in the past, right? So long ago means since way far back in the past. So we see here under this picture, the writing is long ago, many families cooked, worked, and slept in one room. So we can see here are the babies playing with toys, and here is the mother making food, and here's another lady, a lady here making butter, and this lady is making clothes, and this man is preparing food maybe? I don't know. And this lady is cooking food. So everything they did in one room. So the houses were very, very small. Okay? Now let's go to the next page. Oh, here's a picture of a house today. A long time ago, homes had just one room. People ate and slept in that same room. Today, homes can have many rooms. So we will read this part now. Today, families can live in large homes that have lots of space. So now it's easier to build big homes because we have lots of tools and machines, right? Yeah, so for this family, this room is their living room. This looks like the room they play games in or they sit together and talk in. And then here is a different room with a table. So that looks like their dining room where they eat, right? They probably also have bedrooms where they go to sleep. So it's very different from long ago, right? Here, one room they had to do so many things in one room. Here, they just play games and relax in one room, right? Then they have other rooms to do other things. So let's go to the next page. Okay, how did people cook and bake long ago? Now remember, how is a question word asking about the way something was done, right? So if we say, how did people cook and bake long ago? We're asking, what did people do in order to cook and bake? Okay. A home had a brick fireplace with a pole. A huge pot hung on this pole. People cooked in this big pot. So we can see here's the pole, and the pot is hanging, and there's a fire, and the woman is cooking food. She puts all the food in the pot, and then it cooks because it's hot, right? Yeah. So here's another little sentence. Long ago, there was an oven at the side of the fireplace. Bread was baked there. So an oven is a box that heats up. There's no fire. So there's a box, and it's usually made of metal, and heat goes into it, and then the whole box warms up. So you can cook bread or cookies or cake inside. Yeah. Now let's see what happens today. Now we use a stove to cook and bake things. We still use pots, but these pots are not as big as that old pot. So see, this pot is only this big, right? And here's the stove. There's fire, but it's only a little fire, right? Just enough to heat the pot. If we look here, there was a big pot, and the fire was so big, right? So we can see here, today, stoves can use gas or electricity. So some stoves don't even use fire. They just use electricity to make the pot hot, right? And here's a little girl. Here, the fire is so big, you only would let old people make the food. But here, now, the fire is small and the pot is small, so even a little child can help make food. Do you help your mother or father make food? Sometimes children don't because they have to study very hard. But sometimes, maybe on weekends, children can help their parents cut vegetables or maybe put food into the water or maybe stir a pot, right? Yeah. Okay, let's go to the next page. Back then, that means long ago, kids helped out a lot. A boy helped his dad plant crops. A girl helped her mom inside the home. She made socks and caps. It takes a long time to make those things. So here in this picture, again, we can see the pot. So they're cooking some food. And we can see the little girl sitting on the ground making a hat or a sock or a cap. And we can see here is the mother, and she has a big spool of wool from sheep, and she's turning it into yarn. So here it says a spinning wheel was used to spin wool into yarn. And so that means you take wool, which is kind of a little big, maybe like this big or this big, and then you can spin it, and then it becomes yarn or string, which is very, very small. And then you can use that yarn or string to make shirts or to make caps or socks. You can really make anything once you have yarn. Okay, so let's go to the next page. Now we shop for things such as socks and caps. We shop for things to eat as well. So in this page, they talked about the boy helping his father plant food. But now, families can go to the grocery store and buy food. They don't have to plant food anymore, right? Yeah. They also don't have to make their own clothes because they can go to the store and buy it, right? See, this family probably didn't make their own clothes. They probably went to the store to buy it. Today, people buy most of the things they need and want. So today, not many people make their own things. They make money, and then they use the money to buy things from other people, right? Yeah, okay. So, but, oh, we forgot this, but kids still help out at home. So the kids can pick the vegetables, or maybe they'll clean, or maybe they'll help their mother or father cook, right? Make food. Yeah. Okay, now let's see. Back then, people got water from a well. Then they filled up a big tub and washed things. In the past, people washed dishes in a tub made of wood. So we can see this is a woman washing laundry in a big wooden tub, right? So she probably also washed dishes, like her plate or her fork or knife or chopsticks, in that tub too. She just changed the water. Yeah. Now let's see what happens today. Now people can wash things in a sink. We can wash dishes in a dishwasher too. Life is not as hard today as it was long ago. Today, it's easy to wash dishes in a sink or dishwasher. So, most of you have a kitchen, right? And in your kitchen is a sink. That's a big place where the water comes out, and you turn the knob and water comes out of the faucet, right? So when you wash dishes, you don't need to fill up a big wooden tub. You just turn on the water and you can wash the dishes in the sink. Or some people have a dishwasher, and that's a machine that washes dishes. So you take the dishwasher and open it, and then you put your dishes inside and you close it, and then the machine comes on and goes and washes the dishes for you. That means you have time to do other things. You can play games, or you can clean house, or you can go and have fun, right? Yeah. So, like we said at the end, life is not as hard today as it was long ago, right? Life is easier today because we have more tools and more ways to do new things, or the old things an easier way. So let's go to the next page. Okay, now we are going to do comprehension. Comprehension means understanding the words that you are reading. So sometimes you can say all of the words, right? But sometimes you don't understand what the words mean. So comprehension means reading, and then understanding what the words mean. Okay? Okay. So compare and contrast. When you compare, you think about how things are alike. Okay. So remember the TH sound. Think about how things are alike. Your tongue should come out of your mouth between your teeth, okay? Make sure you do that because it's important to say words the right way. So I will read this again. When you compare, you think about how things are alike. When you contrast, you think about how things are different. Okay, now find text evidence. Find out how homes long ago and today are alike and different. Page 77. A long time ago, homes had just one room. People ate and slept in that same room. Today, homes can have many rooms. So we are going to compare homes, right? So compare means you think about how things are alike. So homes had one room and people ate and slept in that same room. Well, people had homes long ago, right? And people ate their food and they slept in that home, right? So that's a way that the homes long ago and today are the same. People still sleep in their home. People still live in a home. People still eat in their home, right? Yeah. So now let's contrast. So we have to think about how the things are different. So here it says long ago homes had just one room. Today, homes can have many rooms. So, one way that homes a long time ago and homes today are different is that the homes today are much bigger, right? Homes today are much bigger and they have many rooms. Before, homes just had one room. So that's called comparing and contrasting, okay? Now, this is what? Can you remember? It starts with a V. It's a something diagram. If you know, raise your hand. Oh, I want you to tell me. Do you remember? Okay. It is a Venn, V-E-N-N diagram. So, in a Venn diagram, you can compare and contrast. So, on the big circle, where it's a circle by itself, we write one thing, so long ago. And then on the other part of the big circle, we write another thing, now. And then in the middle, where the circles are intersecting, we put both. So if things happened long ago and now, they go in the middle. See, so this is one circle, and this is one circle, but this is where the circles are together. So it's like two circles, right? So now we can see long ago, homes had one room. Now homes have many rooms, but people still live in homes, right? So another way we can use this Venn diagram is to say that long ago, we can use it to talk about doing the dishes, right? So if we want to talk about doing the dishes, we can say long ago, I'll type it down here. Dishes were washed in a big tub, right? So long ago, dishes were washed in a big tub. So we can move that right. Oh. Okay, let me fix this. Hold on. Okay. So we can say long ago, dishes were washed in a big tub. Remember the big wooden tub? And now dishes are washed in the sink or in the dishwasher, right? So that's now. So for both, what can we say? Who has an idea? If you know, raise your hand. Oh, I wanted you to tell me. What's something that happened long ago and now? Yes, people washed dishes. Right? So it doesn't matter if it was long ago or if it was now, people still washed dishes, right? The only thing that changed is how they washed their dishes, right? Okay, so that's another way that we can compare and contrast long ago with now. Okay, so let's look at one more thing. We can look at cooking, right? Long ago, people used a big pot and a big fire. Now, people use a stove and use small pots. But what's the same? Yes, people still cook food. Exactly. So that's still the same, right? Yeah. Okay. So now let's go to the next page. Okay. Writing and grammar. Readers 2. Ideas. Pete had an idea about life today. He wrote his opinion. Pete's journal entry. I think computers are great. Our computer at home is new. Mom and I are using it to learn things and play games. Okay, so Pete lives in the present, right? Because he has computers. Long ago, they didn't have computers. So now your turn. Tell about Pete's opinion and his reasons for it. Tell about your idea and your opinion about it. Okay, so Pete's opinion is that computers are great, right? That is his opinion. Because some people think computers are great. Some people don't like computers, right? So that is why this is his opinion. And now, what are his reasons for his opinion? So he says that his mother and him are using it to learn things and play games, right? So he thinks computers are great because you can use them to learn things and you can use them to play games. Okay? Now, some people say computers are bad because people use it to play games and waste time, right? So some people think playing games on the computer is bad. Some people think you should play games with your people, with your other friends. So maybe you can go outside and throw a ball, or maybe you can go outside and run, right, for fun. So everyone has different opinions. Okay, so now let's go to this question. Tell about your idea and your opinion about it. So you can think of anything you want. You can say, I think small houses are nice because our family can spend lots of time together, right? Or you can say, I think big houses are nice because everyone can sleep in their own room and they can be happy by themselves, right? So now it's your turn to think of an opinion and share it with your mother and your father. Okay? Okay, now let's go to the next page. Okay, this is our last page for today. So it's called Writers. Is and are. Use is to tell about one thing. Use are to tell about more than one thing. So he says, I think computers are great. Our computer at home is new. So because he said computers, right, there's an S, he used the word are, right? Because there's more than one computer that he's talking about, right? So if you look at the next sentence, he says, our computer, so you can see there's no S, is new, right? So we can see that are and is are two different words, and we use are for when there's many things or more than one thing, and is when there's only one thing, right? Yeah. Okay. So now find another sentence with is or are in Pete's entry. So let's erase this and go up. So we can see, oh, here is another word. Here's are, right? So mom and I, so that's mom and I. So that's two people, right? So then he says are using it to learn things and play games. So the reason he used are is because there's two people that are using the computer, right? Yeah. Okay. So now let's go to the next question. Write new sentences with is and are. Circle is and are. Okay, let's write a couple sentences together. Is and are very important because when you speak English or you read, they help you understand the sentence. And when you speak English, you need to make sure you say it right, okay? Because then other people can understand you. So now let's make a couple sentences. So we can say, Teacher Jarrett is a happy guy, right? So here's Teacher Jarrett, so that's one person, that's me, is a happy guy. So because it's only one person, we use the word is. We can also say, Teacher Jarrett's students are happy boys and girls, right? So Teacher Jarrett's students, so we're talking about the students now, right? We're not talking about Teacher Jarrett anymore. And the students have an S at the end, so that means there's more than one student. So then we say, the students are happy boys and girls, right? So then we use are because there's more than one thing. Let's make a couple more. My bicycle is red. So the bicycle is one thing, right? So my bicycle is red. Now we can say another thing. We can talk about our, what else can we talk about? We can say, my friends' bicycles are all blue, right? So if you have friends and your friends have bicycles, right? So there's an S here. So there's more than one bicycle, maybe 2 or 3 or 4 or 5. So we're talking about more than one thing. So we say are and then all blue. So my friends' bicycles are all blue. So that means if you have 2 friends or 3 friends or 4 friends, all of their bicycles are blue. Okay? So let's do the last thing now where we circle is, and we circle are. I'll underline the S. Circle is, and we have the S and R. So some languages don't have this type of S. Some languages just have a word, and they don't have the word for single and the word for plural are the same. But in English, if there's more than one, we should put an S on the end, okay? And when we put an S on the end, that changes if we use is or are, right? If we put an S, we use are. So take some time today. Practice is and are. Make some sentences. Read a book. Look for the is and are. And say some sentences yourself. Okay? Okay. Well, that is all I have for today. So now it's time to say bye-bye. Okay? But I will see you next time. Okay? Next time we are going to read more stories about long ago and today. So get excited. I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.